Hello friends. Hi, Sunil, Dr. Sunil. We are going to touch upon a very important subject this morning, and it is about managing difference of opinion, managing, solving, and resolving conflicts. I remember a small victim when I was a child, and it grew stronger when I grew older. Whenever there are two people, even if there are two utensils, there is always a noise. There is a noise of compatibility. There is a noise of disagreement. And there is a noise of commonality, proximity, and closeness. विचार अलग होते हैं, भिन्न होते हैं, सोचने का तरीका, नज़रिया. ये भिन्नता या डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन ही ज़्यादातर विवादों का कारण बनता है. When two people are different, they think differently. Their attitudes are different. Their behaviors are different. And their life paradigms are different. But the fact is, every time there is a conflict, it has a direct negative effect on relationships, and it is immaterial whether you are in an organization or you are in a family scenario. Why difference of opinion? Let's resolve conflicts. It hurts both personally, psychologically, emotionally, and professionally. Let us define what exactly is the conflict management. Conflict management is the process of limiting the negative aspect of the conflict while increasing the positive composition and effects of conflict. दौर गलतफहमियों का सिसकते रहे रिश्ते, दौर गलतफहमियों का सिसकते रहे रिश्ते, काश दो लोग सामने से गुफ्तगू बातचीत तो करते. The aim of the conflict management is to enhance learning and group outcomes, including effectiveness or performance in personal and organization setting. Let us look at the type of the conflicts we come across. Gentlemen, the data which I am sharing with you is primarily the data which I have seen emerging in my own classroom scenarios. Primarily, there are 7 types of conflicts. It is the man versus self. We are talking about a conflict when I am in conflict with myself. I am not agreeing to my own paradigms. Then it is an interpersonal conflict, man versus man. This is one of the major conflicts in the personal life. It is the one reason between spouses, teams in the organization. The third conflict is the man versus society, when you are not agreeing to the society norms and society is putting pressure on you for adherence to certain norms and values. Next is very important, man versus nature, when we are indirectly in confrontation with the nature, and pandemic is one such example. Then versus man versus machine, mechanization, computerization, automation, artificial intelligence, not many subjects can be covered in this area. And the last is the man versus the fate and the destiny. तकदीरों का जिक्र है, लकीरों का जिक्र है, इंसान का विवाद जो है इनसे चलता ही रहता है. Conflicts are inevitable. We can never think of a scene or the scenario where the conflicts are not there. दो लोग मिलते हैं, बात करते हैं, फ़र्क नज़रिए का है, विवाद होता ही है. And I remember one pet line of mine in my classroom scenario that we are not here to solve the conflicts because the conflicts may not be solved for lifelong. But yes, we are always in the process of resolving the conflict in such a manner that the quality, efficiency, productivity, whether at home or in the organization, may not suffer. Wherever there are people, there are likelihood that there will be conflicts. Managers have to deal with conflict in a workplace every day. Conflict management is the ability to be able to identify the reason and handle conflicts sensibly, fairly, and efficiently. Let us define the conflicts. Conflict management is the practice of being able to identify and handle conflicts sensibly, fairly, and efficiently. Everyone is striving to show how valuable they are to the organization they work for, and at times this can lead to the disputes with other members and other teams. I have always found that the maximum conflicts are not within the team, but the maximum conflicts are the interdepartmental teams. Let us look at the consequences of conflict. It is important because unmanagement conflicts can have expensive legal consequences, as people has the tendency to go for the litigations to resolve it. Managing conflict is important because high level of negative conflicts can cause employee dissatisfaction, and it lead to the attrition as well as decreased productivity, quality, and efficiency. Let us look some of the causes of the conflict at the workplace. Personality of the people come from the different backgrounds or the cultures and have their own belief and the value system. The lack of understanding or acceptance of these differences is an easy reason for the conflict. And the one very important area which I would like to touch this morning, that ego plays a very, very important role. What exactly is the ego? It is a wall you build around yourself and you don't want anybody to break it. Half of the life you spend in developing this wall, and the remaining half you spend in protecting it for any penetration. बुझी बुझी सी राख है क्यों शोला ढूंढते हो, दफन करके जिंदा इंसानों को फिर उनकी रूह को ढूंढते हो. Let us look at the different style of working of the people. When people expect others to work the same way as them and don't respect them, the fact that everyone works differently, it creates frustration and hinder the completion of the project and task. Bad communication chemistry. Misunderstanding is one of the basic reasons for all the problems and issues. It remains unsolved for a prolonged period of time, and the ongoing miscommunication deteriorates the progress of the work. Paucity of resources. Paucity of resources, whether at home or in the organization, create a lot of conflict. I have seen even in the family situation, पैसे की तंगी, पैसे का हाथ तंग होने से बहुत सारे विवाद परिवारों में होते हैं. And the similar situation happened in the organization when the reward are less and distributed less among the people. Lack of support. People struggle to complete the job's role if they aren't given the technical support. The role of the leader, the role of the teacher, the role of the manager is very important in solving the conflicts. And people look forward toward the leader for the constant support. Working in a stressful situation, such as in confrontation, they will feel worse if they are not able to receive emotional or the moral support, and will feel like the workplace doesn't care about them. Lack of customer services, if the service is not provided, it's going to create a lot of conflict between the buyer and the seller. The quality of the management itself is very important, how contented and able a person feel in their role. If you feel comfortable in your role effectiveness, role identity, and rewarded properly, chances are there are lesser conflict. Without a strong leader, people lack direction and goal, and therefore motivation, which lead to dissatisfaction and the bitterness toward the organization. Next point is very important. It is a bad organization culture. Treating others unkindly due to their belief, disabilities, and other qualities illegal, and no workplace should tolerate it. It is debilitating for the person being subject to the abuse that can lead to the serious ongoing conflicts that are difficult and expensive to resolve and reflect badly on their business. Contractual complication. People left in the dark about the role clarity create a lot of conflict within the organization. Let us look up some of the strategies we adopt in managing conflict at the workplace. First important thing is there must be the communication chemistry between the people. People must talk to each other. If at all there is a difference of opinion, ways and mean, even a third party intervention is important to get it solved. Focus on behavior and event and not on the personality. The biggest reason of conflict is instead of focusing on the work performance, we start focusing on the personalities of the people, which is wrong. Listening empathetically is very important. If I go into the listening empathetically detailed, this video will become for the 2 hours, which we don't intend, but yes, let us put ourselves into the shoes of the other person and then listen them such a way to understand their feeling, their attitude and their behavior. The emotionality of the people is very, very important. Identify points of agreement and disagreement. It is very important. When you work in a team, you identify on what are the areas you are agreeing and what are the areas you are disagreeing. Prioritize the areas of conflict, like in time management. I feel in the classroom situation, and we have successfully solved many issues when we try to prioritize the areas of the conflict. There can be the conflict which is just minor or the major or very important or urgent. Of course, we must address to that conflict which is urgent and damaging the interpersonal relationship. Develop a plan. We must develop a plan to solve the conflict, and we must follow the plan and build on your success. There are a large number of the strategies of managing the conflicts. We are going to touch few of them this morning. Accommodating. It is primarily a step toward buying peace, one person voluntarily agreeing to give to another person what he wants. This is the policy of accommodating at whatever the cost. Avoiding. People simply avoid or ignore that there is a conflict. No, this is a bad strategy. It is just like closing the eyes when a pigeon sees a cat. We must conflict. We must confront. Normally weak, less empowered, less assertive people with a low esteem adopt this strategy. This amounts to running away or keeping the conflict under the carpet, which can be damaging at the later stage. Collaborating. People come across the table. One of the best strategies to work together. Collaborate for a very creative solution for the conflict. They add to their expertise and want to come out in a win-win situation. Compromising. People compromise on their stand, and there is a lot to give, surrender, and to bargain. both sides decides to curtail their claim, so a peaceful solution can be found. Competing. This strategy is normally adopted by the highly assertive people, and the desire is to win at all costs toward the end. They work on a paradigm I win, you lose situation, and this creates lot of. Gentlemen, I would like to end up this conflict management details with a small example. I told my wife last evening the room is getting very hot. Why don't you get up and close the oil heater? And she says, no, it's not very hot, it is very cold. If I was just a husband, I would have gone into the discussion, but being a teacher, a trainer, a psychologist, a mentor, I said, okay, fine. When you feel it is hot, you can close it. And gentlemen, she got up after 3 minutes and closed the heater. Well, I have tried to cover some of the areas, and it is a very, very important that the conflicts are the most damaging aspects of our interpersonal relationship, whether in our life or in organization life. So all the conflicts cannot be solved. At least we can make some efforts to resolve them, to mitigate them, to marginalize them, to reduce them, so that our working relationship may not be harmed or damaged. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with me. Maybe we meet again somewhere in some other video. Until then, good day. Thanks for being with me.